Yesterday Bitcoin pumped all the way to the 61,000 and later we saw a dump back to the $58,000. In this video I'm going to tell you exactly why Bitcoin is dumping and what we can expect for today. The reason about this dump is very clear, but I will tell you about that later in this video. I will also have a look at the two altcoins PEPE and Thorchain RUNE. There's a lot of interesting data coming into the market and I will discuss everything with you in this video. So watch this video all the way to the end, like the video and let's dive right into the charts. Yesterday we saw Bitcoin bouncing from this critical support on the 4-hour time frame. In the past we saw multiple touch points here on this horizontal level and yesterday we saw another big bounce from this level. So this was looking a little bit more bullish than bearish. We saw beautiful separation of the support level, but afterwards we saw a big dump back to the support level and we went from $61,000 back to the $58,000. So that was a little bit more of a bearish end of the day. So for today we need to hold this level again and we want to see more of a separation of this level, and again we want to aim for these higher highs and then we can create a trend reversal for Bitcoin. So if we can gain this previous high around the $64,000, that would be of course a very bullish price effect for Bitcoin. But now we are looking a little bit more bearish and we could potentially also see a bearish break below this horizontal level, retest this previous support as resistance and then come further back down. So if we're going to see a break below this level and see a confirmation of the break, then I'm going to wait for a retest of this level, and from here you can enter the market possibly in a short and then aim for lower levels. So this could be a short setup for today. But I was promising that I was going to tell you the reason why Bitcoin is dumping, and that was because the BlackRock ETF had their second negative outflow since the beginning of their ETF. So this was very bearish to see. We can also see that the Fidelity ETF is also selling their Bitcoin onto the markets, just like the Grayscale ETF. And yesterday we saw a total outflow of almost $72 million, so that was having a very bearish effect on the markets. And we are now seeing 3 consecutive days of outflow out of the Bitcoin ETFs, and this is having a very bearish effect on the price of Bitcoin on the charts. And we're now back below the $18 billion of total cumulative inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs. So let's see what today will bring us for the Bitcoin ETFs and if we maybe can close the week in a positive way. However, the Ethereum ETFs saw a less of a negative day yesterday. We only saw almost 1.7 million of outflows after the day before we saw a 6 million of inflows. So this is not looking very bearish or bullish, and we can see almost none of the Ethereum ETFs are buying. Only Grayscale is selling their portion into the market and they are buying on their lower commission ETF. So once the Ethereum ETFs are starting to buy, we can maybe see more positive price action for Ethereum unfolding. And on the daily chart, I've been monitoring this huge horizontal level for Bitcoin, and we can see in the past multiple touch points here as support and resistance, and every time we touched this level we saw a big price interaction. And yesterday we came back to this level, but we are seeing a big rejection coming into the market, and we saw a big rejection and we now have to aim for lower prices again. So let's see if Bitcoin can create a little bit more bullish price action, come back to this huge horizontal resistance line, and of course we want to see a bullish break to the top side for this new horizontal level, a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there we have to aim for higher targets. And earlier last week we also saw a huge break of this level, but then we fell below this level again, so this was clearly a fake out. So let's see if Bitcoin can create a breakout and then aim for higher targets. And for now we have to aim for lower targets, because after this huge rejection we can now see a little bit more bearish price action coming into the market. But let's see if Bitcoin can maintain this uptrend, because if we're falling below this uptrend then we have to be a little bit more bearish. And the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is back in the stages of fear. We are at the 34 and yesterday we were even at levels of 29. So this was extremely hard to see. And of course every time we are in stages of fear, it is a very good time to accumulate, because when we are in stages of greed, that means that we are seeing a lot of bullish price action. So that is the time when you want to take profits, and in stages of fear or maybe extreme fear, that is the time to accumulate more of your Bitcoin. So actually when we are in stages of fear, I'm always becoming more bullish, because you always have to trade against the mass of people, and a lot of people are now selling because they are fearing the market. But actually you want to be buying, and in stages of greed you want to be taking profits. And if we have another look on the daily chart, we can see this huge consolidation pattern is unfolding with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance and multiple touch points on the downside as support. And currently we are back at this lower side support after yesterday we saw a beautiful bounce from the support. And now we have to be a little bit cautious that we're not going to see a break below this level, because then we can see more bearish price action unfolding. So for now we have to see if Bitcoin can come back to this topside resistance, maybe even force a break to the top side and then create more bullish price action. But eventually I think we will trade inside of this consolidation formation and eventually see a break for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin always tends to break out way before we are reaching an apex, and this apex is due in the beginning of September. So let's see if we're going to see a break earlier before this apex is getting reached. So we could potentially also see a bearish break for this pattern, and that we're going to see a retest of the support to turn it into resistance, and then we have to aim for lower targets. And then the lower side of this formation will be the breakout target, and that will be around the $54,000. So that would be of course the bearish scenario. And if you are going to look at the bullish scenario, we want to see a break of the resistance on the top side, retest the resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And then the top side of this resistance will be the breakout target, and that will be around the $68,500. So that will be of course the bullish scenario. And let me know in the comments what you think about this formation. Are we going to see a bullish break, or are we going to see a bearish break for Bitcoin? And when we zoom out all the way to the monthly chart, we can see this beautiful consolidation pattern, and we are seeing this previous resistance coming into the market in the previous bull market. We created an all-time high, and that was causing a lot of resistance back then. And on this monthly consolidation for Bitcoin, we see a lot of touch points here on the top side as resistance, and this horizontal level is coming into play. And earlier this year we broke above this level, and now we are retesting this previous resistance as support. So this is looking very bullish to see. So this is considered a bullish retest, and let's see if this support is going to hold for this monthly candle in August, because this monthly candle is looking a little bit more bearish. But of course we went lower than this, and now we are seeing a beautiful hammer candle unfolding for Bitcoin on the monthly chart. So let's see if we can close this candle above this huge support area, and eventually we want to see a spike to the top side and create this next exponential move to the top side for Bitcoin. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Thorchain RUNE. I've been monitoring RUNE since the beginning of August, when we were in this falling wedge formation and we were at stages of support. So this was very bullish if you were buying at these lows, just like I did. And on the charts we now can see that RUNE finally broke to the top side, and currently we are retesting this previous resistance trend line, and now we are retesting it as support. So from here you could have entered in the market in the long, because I'm always saying you have to wait for a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support. From here you can enter the market in the long, and now we can aim for higher prices. And the breakout target of this formation will be confluent with the top side of this formation, and that will be around the $9.50. And currently we are at the $4, so that could be a very interesting gain to make. And from the point of breakout you could potentially make a 145% gain. So that is insane, of course. So let's see what RUNE can do in the coming days. And we can also see this huge horizontal resistance coming into play. We are seeing a lot of touch points in the past as resistance and support, and currently we are back at this beautiful horizontal level. So let's see what Thorchain RUNE is going to do in the coming days. If we're going to see a break above this level, and then we're going to see bullish price action, or we could also potentially see that this level is a little bit too strong for now, then we can maybe come back to this lower side, and eventually we want to see more bullish price action for RUNE, and that we're coming all the way back to this higher side of this falling wedge. And another very interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is PEPE. Earlier this year we saw a huge gain for PEPE, and it was one of the biggest coins in the beginning of this year. And currently we are in this huge falling wedge formation to the downside. We can see multiple touch points on the top side as resistance, and also on the downside as support. And we're also seeing these horizontal levels coming into play. We can see multiple touch points here as support and resistance. And so currently we are seeing this huge trendline resistance unfolding, and we also saw a big rejection last week, and now we are seeing a little bit of bearish price action. And eventually we want to see a bullish break of this downward sloping resistance to the top side. So we could potentially see some price action like this happening, and eventually we want to see this bullish break, retest this previous resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And the breakout target of this falling wedge will be the top side of this formation. Please give this video a like if you find this video useful. Follow me on my socials, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.